Because I've been making it to the those pills that I need to be taking. It's hard for me to get down there with work, and I've been struggling with money for a little while, so it's been hard for me to get down there.
If it's hard for you to get down there, it's going to be harder if you're in jail, ain't it?
Hello?
I said,
Hello?
hello. I said, if
Yes, sir. I can
hard
hear you
for
now.
to get down there now, it's going to be harder if you're sitting in jail, ain't it?
Yes, sir. I understand that.
You better understand that. Mr. O'Donnell, what do we got?
Judge, do you want me to go on the record?
Let's just see what Brian says. Or is there a plea or what's going on?
Yes, Your Honor. We have a plea agreement for the court's
Okay.
consideration.
Let me get us on the record. Court calls case number. Well, first of all, court is called to order. We call now case number 648851, State of Texas versus Joel Javier Barrera. He is present by video conference, as is his attorney from the Public Defender's Office, Mr. Brian O'Donnell. Mr. O'Donnell, you've informed me that you have a plea agreement with the state.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Patricia, you have the paperwork
Yes, sir.
already. Mr. Barrera, will you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, you may put your hand down.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Barrera, before we go further, there's several things that I need to discuss with you that are required by law. They're constitutional rights and protections that I need to be sure that you're aware of.
Mhm.
The very first one is the right to remain silent. That means you don't have to say anything. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to submit paperwork in this proceeding, especially papers that have your signature and confess or admit to wrongdoing. Do you understand you have that right?
Yes, sir. I understand.
We seem to be having a little trouble with your computerization there.
Yeah, but I heard you, sir. Yes, sir, and I understand.
All right. Now, in order to enter a plea, you have to give up that right to remain silent. Are you aware that, and are you willing to do that?
Yes, sir.
All right. In addition, there's several other important rights. You have the right to a jury trial. That's where 6 people from the community selected by the state and your attorney and yourself would decide whether you're guilty or not.
Yes, sir.
You also have the right to confront witnesses is the big word, but what it is the right to ask questions, to cross-examine any witness who would testify. You also have the right to do what's called the right of appeal. That means that you by yourself or your attorney by himself or the two of you together could demand that a higher court, at a higher level, review the record of this case, which is being prepared by Ms. Kayleen Rivera, my court reporter. You would ask or demand that the higher court review that and the evidence for whatever challenge you wanted to make. But in order to enter this plea, you're also giving that right up. Do you understand those rights? Did you review them with Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you're willingly and voluntarily giving up those rights?
Yes, sir.
Now, furthermore, you have a right to demand that this proceeding be done in the public courtroom. Because of the COVID pandemic, we're not having public courtroom hearings.
Right.
What we're doing is like we're doing right now on computer. It's called a video conference.
Mhm.
Are you in agreement to do it this way, or do you want to demand that it be done in the courtroom?
This way is fine, sir.
All right. We are, for the record, we're being transmitted over YouTube, which is public. The entire public community has the right to watch this if they choose. Whoever wants to can watch and listen and see what's going on.
Okay.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, the state has the same right to demand that this hearing be done in public. So we're going to show you a bunch of documents. And by the way, you may see 2 or 3 times a repetition of the rights that I just talked to you about.
Okay.
At the top of all the documents, with one exception perhaps, it will have introductory information. It will be repeated. As you can see at the top here, it says cause number 648851, the state of Texas versus Joel Javier Barrera,
Mhm.
in County Court at Law number 5, Bexar County, Texas. Then you have the title of the document. This one is the state's consent to video conference. That means that because they have the right to have this in public, they are agreeing, giving consent to do it by video conference, as we are doing. And this document is signed by Andrew Harris Edelman, the Assistant District Attorney. Do you see that document?
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. In addition, the next document is called Discovery Acknowledgement. Again, the introductory information. It's a repetition, but it's a different document, so you put it on top of those papers. This one talks about what's called discovery, that is making open to you and your attorney all the information and documents and whatever papers or videos or whatever are involved in a case. They make them available to you so that you can make a good informed decision. The law is called Article 39.14 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. This document is signed by the Assistant District Attorney and your attorney. They're saying for the record that the law has been obeyed, that the state has provided all the information, documents, whatever, for your use.
Mhm.
The third document is, again, introductory information. This one is titled Defendants Consent to Video Conference. We just talked about that a while ago, and you've agreed to do this by video conference. This one has your signature and your attorney's. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. The next document here, again, introductory information, but the title of this one is Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights in Court's Admonitions. It starts off with 3 separate sentences. The first sentence says that you're giving up the right to require me to read to you the documents, the papers that are officially accusing you of the crime of driving while intoxicated. Second,
Mhm.
that's the original charge. And it says that in the second sentence. The third sentence says that you hereby enter a plea of nolo contendere to the driving while intoxicated. Now, what that tells me and tells the record is that the enhancement of driving while intoxicated second has been dropped, and you're now being charged with driving while intoxicated misdemeanor B, or driving while intoxicated first. Did you understand all that?
Yes.
The rest of this document is divided up into 15 sections or divisions. Each one is numbered separately. It starts off with number 1. It's what they call the range of punishment, the amount of punishment that can be given to you for DWI first. This particular one, the announcement or the sentence, perhaps that's a bad choice of word. The declaration that follows a box that's checked off, and no other box is checked off. They're all vertically stacked up. Next to each box, there is a declaration about the range of punishment for the particular offense involved. This one says DWI first, a fine anywhere from $0 to $2,000, and jail 72 hours to 180 days in jail. Did you see and understand that information?
Yes, sir.
Now, the rest of this document, did you closely and carefully review it with Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what it said?
Yes, sir.
I will point out several things in particular. Number 2 talks about some very important rights: the right to a jury trial, the right to cross-examination of witnesses, excuse me, the right to remain silent. It says you're declaring this. You're saying that you freely and voluntarily given up those rights. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, have you ever been involved with the sex offender program at all?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't get that. It broke
All
up really
right.
quick. May
Have
you
you
repeat,
ever
please?
been involved with or been under the sex offender program or
No, sir.
registration? All right,
No, sir.
very good. Now, you told me that you carefully reviewed this.
Mhm.
Number 8 in particular, where were you born?
Here in San Antonio, Texas.
In the record, it will show that you are a U.S. citizen. There's
Yes.
particular reasons for that.
Mhm.
We'll scroll down now to number 15. I want to particularly make sure that you know and understand that you could demand a risk and needs assessment. That's a review and gathering of information about what, if anything, may be necessary for you and that the courts could provide for you, in particular this court. Did you understand you're telling me that you don't want that? You want to go ahead and finish this procedure today?
Yes, sir.
All right. It has your signature, the signature of the assistant district attorney, and the Mr. O'Donnell, your attorney. I will be signing all these documents. This next document is a declaration by the court. First of all, it starts off with the basic information we've been talking about a while ago. This one is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. There's a stack of vertical little boxes to be checked off. They talk about the individual boxes, say something in particular about the right to appeal. I will be checking off the 5th box at the top of what you're being shown right now after Ms. Garcia has scrolled it. This says that I, as a judge, am declaring that this is a plea bargain case and the defendant has no right of appeal. Did you see and understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you and Mr. O'Donnell reviewed it,
Yes, sir. We did.
and you both signed it, you and your attorney.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll be signing that also. This next document, again, introductory information. This one is titled Application for Judge-Ordered Community Supervision Probation. You reviewed this with your attorney carefully?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Do you understand what you're telling me under oath when you sign this document as far as application for probation?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you know and understand that probation is a written, legal, binding agreement between you and this court?
Yes, sir.
That agreement specifically is going to include the fact that I will sentence
Understand.
you to a jail sentence to be locked up, but I will suspend that. And
Yes, sir.
that will be suspended.
Yes, sir,
so
Mr.
long-
O'Donnell.
I will suspend the jail portion. It'll be there. You'll have you'll have a judge's order that you serve time in jail, but I will suspend that so long as you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision.
Yes,
And I
sir.
point that out to you because you are not doing 100% on these tests and stuff. And if you do that now, after being placed on
Yes, sir. I
probation,
understand.
you're going to wind up in jail. You got that
Yes,
clear?
sir. Yes, sir. I understand.
All right, you signed that document telling me those things in there. All right.
Right.
Now, Mr. O'Donnell signed it also. Here is this one is the one that does not have the regular standard information at the top. That's because you're putting all your personal information in there.
Mhm.
Did you put true and accurate information in here?
Yes, sir. That looks correct.
All right. Now, it says you are self-employed. What do you do?
Construction, sir. Specialized
Yeah.
in masonry.
It's called what?
Well, construction. J. Barrera Construction. It's a
All right.
family. It's a family company.
Again, say it carefully again.
J. Barrera Construction.
J. Barrera. Okay,
Yes.
that's your company.
It's a family company. Yes, sir.
How long have you been involved with that company?
Oof, since I was 18. Since I was 18 years old, so that would be
How old are you now?
31.
All
Actually,
right, so it's 13 years, huh? All right. And scroll it, Patty.
yes, sir.
All right. You have one dependent. Who is that?
My daughter.
How old is she?
She's 7, sir.
Does she live with you?
We have 50-50 custody with her mother.
All right. Do you pay child support separately, or you just?
No, we just have an agreement.
All right. Did you serve in the military? It
No,
says
sir.
You did?
No, sir, I did not.
All right. And you have a vehicle? You have a car or truck?
No, it's my dad has a truck. That's the one I was using when I got pulled over, but I don't have a vehicle.
Well, you're gonna have to understand one thing. We're gonna have to put a ignition interlock on your dad's truck, or you're not
Right.
gonna be able to drive it. One or the other.
Right, it's already in there, so
I'm sorry?
so he still has it in there, so that's the one I've been using, the interlock.
All right. And you already have the interlock on it?
Yes, sir.
All right. How long have you had it on? You're frozen on me again. Can you hear me?
It's date of when I got it on there.
I'm sorry. Say again.
I'm not sure of the exact date of when I got it installed into the truck.
Well, has it been months, a year?
Yeah,
More than
yeah,
that?
it's been months. But
All right. Now, a document we're showing you is called Plea Agreement. That's the title at the top. This one says State of Texas versus Joel Javier Barrera, case number 648851. It's the agreement that you're making on this thing, the plea bargain, and it does not have the title of the court. That's one of the few documents that doesn't have the whole information that we've seen. The first box will be marked that I've already discussed with you, the right to remain silent, and you have been informed and you have agreed to give it up. Then the next box is defendant is a U.S. citizen. I will have that marked also. The following section is titled Defendants Acknowledgements. There's 5 vertical boxes. Each one has a declaration concerning your rights and your agreements and the constitutional protections and how you're fully informed. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
All right. Now, the state, your attorney has done good for you. The state has agreed, and momentarily they will make a motion officially saying that they're going to waive the enhancement called DWI second, and they're going to proceed with DWI first. Now, I need you to understand something very clearly.
Yes, sir.
You will have 2 DWIs on your history. If you get a third one, you're not going to be able to say, well, it's not the third one because the DWI second was lowered to DWI first.
Yes, sir. He let me know that. I understand.
That is explained to you.
Mhm.
Okay, be aware.
Yes, sir.
Now, state, do you move to waive and abandon the enhancement of DWI second?
Yes, state moves to waive and abandon the prior conviction enhancement and proceed as DWI unenhanced.
And defense, do you have any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. The box on no objection will be marked as well as the box that I am now granting that motion. So, Mr. Barrera, you are now being prosecuted on the offense of DWI first, not DWI second.
Okay.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
That's why you're put in the category of Class B misdemeanor for punishment. Otherwise, it would have been a DWI second and a Class A misdemeanor.
Yes, sir.
Now, officially, what is your plea?
No contest.
A no contest plea in this court is considered a guilty plea, and it's sufficient for me to find you guilty. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. As part of the conditions of supervision, I find you guilty, and as part of your punishment, I order you to, in good faith, enroll and complete the DWI intervention program and the DWI victim impact panel live. Can you scroll that, Patty? You will submit to a TAIP evaluation and follow the recommendations made by them. Scroll.
Judge, you skipped the punishment part.
Where is it at?
The term, it was right there.
Back it
About
up.
coming 7 days reporting to the
Well, roll it back then.
office.
All right. Based on your plea of nolo contendere, I find you guilty of the charge. You're sentenced to 6 months, Bexar County Jail, locked up, but that is probated or suspended for a term of 15 months, 1-5. You are fined $500. If you live up to 100 conditions of supervision, then you will not have to pay that 500, but it will be there. You have to perform 60 hours of community service restitution. In addition, you're ordered to go within 7 days. I need you to go to the offices of County Court Law Number 5. We're on the 4th floor of the Justice Center. The hallway behind the courtroom is where you'll find the offices. You'll need to present yourself within 7 days so you can have your thumbprint placed on the judgment and documents as is required by law. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. I
Do
understand.
you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. You will have 7 months ignition interlock on your father's truck, or if you don't drive it at all, and you'll have to give me a sworn affidavit saying that you're not going to drive any vehicle at all, then we'll order you to have what's called the in-home portable alcohol monitor. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Now, during the entire 15 months of probation, you're not to have any alcohol at all. Is that clear?
I'm sorry, sir. It broke up again right there when you said that. Can
I
you
know.
repeat that?
I understand. I said during the entire 15 months of probation, you're not to have any alcohol at all for the whole duration. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. I understand.
And if you'll notice on the document, it says 7 months prohibition of operation of motor vehicle. You're not to drive any vehicle. I will promise you that if you get caught driving, I don't care if it's your dad's truck or anybody else's, during the entire 15 months, if they bring it to my attention, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Is that understood?
Yes, sir. I understand.
All right. Now, what is your monthly income total from whatever source?
About 2,400 a month.
And does your
It
wife,
it all depends, on how many jobs we get and stuff like that. So, but that's
all right,
average. It's
average
kind
is
of average.
2,400.
Yeah. Let's see.
does your wife works outside the house?
I'm sorry. What, sir?
Does your wife work outside the house?
Oh, I'm not married.
All right. All righty. Your the supervisory fee will be $34 a month.
Okay.
All right. Questions, Mr. Edelman?
Nothing from the state, sir.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. First, I would ask, is it possible that my client would be able to buy out or pay down his community service? He is working full-time construction during the day, and at night he attends school, both on Zoom and in person. And the reason that we were considering, or for the court's approval, the in-home device is because his father has that truck that has the ignition interlock on it, but he's going to get rides to wherever he has to go. That's why we were asking that the court consider removing the ignition interlock and court ordering the PAM device. Also, Judge, we would ask the court to not order antabuse. It was part of pretrial, but it is very difficult to appear and have someone watch you take the pill 3 times a week and And I know with our specialty court, we have not seen anti-abuse used for years. I do not believe that it is part of the current DWI court or certainly mental health court best practices. My client is very motivated. I have gone over multiple times what it would mean to violate the conditions of this probation judge. He understands this is really zero tolerance. He's got a young child, and he wants to earn that respect when that child gets older and looks him in the eye. He's very motivated to complete this term of probation, Your Honor.
All right. The court will order the removal of the ignition interlock from Mr. Barrera's father's vehicle. The court will authorize donation in lieu of community service hours for each hour at the rate of $11 per hour. The donations, the court's preference is that the donation be made to the Gabriel Project, or Mr. Barrera can choose to make the donations to the San Antonio Food Bank in those amounts for any and all of the hours of community service. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Judge,
All right.
what was the amount?
$11 an hour.
Thank you.
All
Are you
right.
gonna recall the warrant?
Yes, I'm glad you remembered.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Recall the warrant. If I issue another warrant for you, sir, you're gonna have a tough time. Depending upon the evidence, you'll have a real tough time getting me to recall it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Nothing further from state or defense.
Nothing further from the state, sir.
Mr. O'Donnell, the court appreciates your help for Mr. Barrera. I hope Mr. Barrera appreciates that too.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor,
All right.
I can draft my client an affidavit of non-driving, that he will not drive any motor vehicle for 7 months, Your Honor.
Actually, I said 15.
Very
I know
well,
what-
Judge.
I know what the document said, and by the way, technically speaking, that exceeds your agreement. And as you are aware, Mr. O'Donnell and Mr. Barrera, if I give you a punishment that's heavier than what you agreed to, which was 15-month no driving of any vehicle, you have a right to say, no, I'm not taking that. I'm going to go ahead and start all over. And nothing that you said or signed, well, that was covered in the papers, would be used against you. Do you want to go ahead and start all over?
No, sir. I think that'll be fine.
All right. Mr. O'Donnell, feel free at any time, if you feel it's justified, to follow up on a motion for reconsideration of that issue. We'll see how that works out, but I want this man to understand and make sure he knows that I don't want him driving any vehicle that doesn't have the ignition interlock.
Very well. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. You're fortunate, by the way, I need to let you know this. If you get a third DWI, it won't be because you have a DWI first only, because you've got 2 of them now. A third one means felony.
Yes, sir.
That means state prison. I'm sure Mr. O'Donnell told you that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Don't forget to come in and put your thumbprint on it.
Mhm.
And